characters. Who are they? What are they? Who will they become? So much goes into the creation of a character. Their backstory, culture, origins, abilities, personality, description, and so much more. As a reader, we only get a glimpse of what truly goes into the development of each character. So sit back and relax as we explore characters in depth on this week's episode of Character Driven with Madilynn Dale. Hello everyone, Madilynn Dale here, and this is the first episode of the new show. I have the amazing J.E. Taylor here with me today, and we are going to talk about one of her fantastic characters. But before we get going, a little bit about me. I am a mixed genre author, specifically writing in fantasy, paranormal, and romance. I'm a host for this show as well as Indie Mayhem, and I also interview on the side. So you can find all my stuff at thechaptergoddess.com. And here is the amazing Miss Taylor. I'm going to let her introduce herself and there we go. Hold on. And tell us a little bit about herself.
Hello, I write paranormal, urban fantasy, delving a little bit into the fantasy side, but I do horror, thriller. I've done young adult, and it's all under my name. I don't do other pseudonyms because this is enough. And I find I write more on character, and I get that from my book covers. So I saw the call to come on the show, and here I am.
And I'm so glad to have you on the show because you've got a fantastic character. So
Yes.
go ahead and tell our viewers about the character you chose to chat about today.
I chose Sarah Stone. She is my main character in my Shades of Night trilogy that I'm finishing up the last book as we speak. I'm, crunch time on that because I have a editor slot in September for that. So that's coming out on October 4th. But Sarah she's a witch, and her magic is calling things to her, so she can produce anything she wants, like knives, swords, a car, a leather jacket, things like that. So clothes if she needs them. So that's her superpower, I guess, at this point, at the beginning of the stories. And she works for the Monster Defense Agency. And she's paired, witches are paired with shifters. So she's been paired with an alpha shifter for her entire career. And this is later in her career that Wicked Heart starts. And she's got a thing for Robbie, but they're not supposed to date. That is against the rules of the agency, and the agency comes down pretty hard on anybody who breaks those rules. So there's a conflict.
Yeah. But that's already, like, I can just imagine that.
Yes, and they hunt vampires. Ooh. And Sarah has the unfortunate mistake of being turned into a vampire.
Oh no.
Oh yes. So now she's got the agency after her. She's worried about her partner because it's a werewolf. A werewolf can smell out a vampire a mile away. and she has to deal with the things that she is most afraid of.
Oh no.
As a vampire, controlling her thirst. Because in my books, vampires don't just take a sip.
Yeah.
Once they start, you end up dead.
Oh man.
So yes, so she's got a lot of hurdles to overcome and grow. And she has another gift that comes out later in the book. That both complicates and eases some of those stressors.
I can imagine. She is full of surprises.
Yes. Yes.
So tell me where you got the inspiration for her.
The cover.
Ooh.
There it is. Let's go. So that is, I saw this cover,
Ooh.
and the cover artist had a trilogy that she was giving, not giving away, but selling. And I saw this, and the story came flooding into my head, and that the fire does have
Yes.
something to do
I love it.
with with her. So it does take place in New York City. So
Okay. I like the city background. That makes
yeah,
sense.
yep.
And her flaming red hair, I like that. Does
Yes,
she start out with her hair the same color as it
yes.
does? Because I know when things happen, sometimes the female's character, like her hair changes. So
No, no, her hair has always been that color red, so it's very striking.
I like it.
Um, and I did write a prequel, which is Robbie's story.
Ooh.
So her werewolf partner, it's his story of how he met her at the academy.
Ooh.
So as soon as I was done with this, I saw that cover, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta write Robbie's story anyway.
Yeah.
So that helped, you know, see his view of her. She's always been strong.
Hmm.
Um, she lost her parents at right before she turned 16, and then she was relegated to the state that found out she was a witch. That's why she ended up at the academy. You know, it's like the tribute to
Yes,
the
and that's a
academy.
pretty good backstory. So she's probably got some emotional trauma and
Oh
stuff.
yes.
Like, let's talk about like what things she might have experienced as her backstory.
Yeah, the backstory, her parents, she got to see them dating and in love. And so she got used to that, and she knew she was loved.
Hmm.
Um, so that shaped her, you know, it shaped her idea of, what relationships should be, and now, finding somebody and being forbidden
Hmm.
from being with them is really tough on her and him.
Yeah.
They don't ever talk about it. And not until, the world falls down on them.
So it stays like the giant elephant in the room kind of thing
Yes.
while they're
The
working together as partners. That's
the
gonna be difficult.
the
I
giant tension, yes.
Yes. Oh, just
And yes.
knowing looking at each other like, okay, we can't act on this, but it's
Well,
there.
yeah, it's there, but they don't they don't speak of it until,
Yeah.
everything befalls her. Um, and then, yeah.
That is crazy. Do they try to see other people outside of like, okay, so they do. How
Mhm.
does that affect their working relationship any?
Um, I think in some cases, yes, it's deep down jealousy.
Yeah.
The deep down jealousy of seeing there was somebody else. Robbie's more open about it. He's,
Mhm.
tagging anything in a skirt when they're, in the beginning. So he has a reputation, so does she. So
Yeah.
so, you know, but in the shifter world,
Mhm.
when you find your mate, it's pretty serious in there,
Yeah.
and they can't, and he can't act on that, and she doesn't
Oh.
know. She
Oh.
doesn't know that she's his true mate. Oh,
Oh.
yeah. So all of this is just, oh, yeah. So he's been fighting it for 20, or actually 15 years. They've been working together for 15 years when Wicked Heart starts.
Man, and he's
So,
kept the secret from her that long. That's
but he's kept it, and he's kept himself in check
yeah.
because of the agency rules.
Man.
If they cross that line, the witch dies. The witch is put in front of a firing squad. So yes.
Wow. And then the whole world just decides, it's like everything turns its head when she's turned into a vampire.
Yeah,
So
because
that's,
now she's hunted anyway.
yeah. So, gosh.
Oh
So her
yes.
development, her changes, everything that happens in the story, the growth, like, let's talk about the growth she experiences. Does her mentality shift? Does her worldview shift on how she views things?
She still has a very strong dislike of vampires
Mm-hmm.
because they are made to kill.
Yeah.
Basically, that's it. So and it's a conflict within her.
Mm-hmm.
So her view of vampires doesn't really change. It only solidifies. Um, However, that other power that she has that
Mm-hmm.
surfaces gives her some more control than most other vampires.
Hmm.
So it allows her to stop.
Okay.
Other ones don't.
Yeah.
So the bloodlust and other ones is just gone, once they taste it.
Hmm.
Um, so that helps a little bit, but she doesn't know what she is.
Wow.
She doesn't know what the hell she is, and neither does Robbie.
Man.
Because it's not just vampire.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the wards that the agents wear for vampires don't work on her.
Ooh, I mean, that's kind of a perk in her case, I'd
Yes,
say.
it is. It is in some cases, but she has a moral compass so that
Mm-hmm.
she does not abuse the powers that she has. And she does not like using some of the powers that she has, like the power of coercion,
Mm-hmm.
or compelling, being able to
Yeah.
compel people. She does not like doing that because that takes away their free will.
Yeah.
So this moral compass with this monster, now in her blood is just they clash inside her as well as
Yeah.
externally, you know.
That's interesting how you say that too, because it's like there's a monster in her blood. Like, is it the vampire part
Mhm.
warring with the other creature she
Well, the
turns
other
into?
creature, they don't know what she is yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
But does it
You
kind of
find out
like,
later. You find out later, but
yes, I'm trying to not to give away, like, do they kind of like war with each other within her? Is that how it
yes.
like makes
Yeah,
her
it's
balance
it's
out?
it's like the good to evil. Yes.
Yeah.
They are in, imbalance in that way. And when one tries to take dominance, the other one's warring with it.
Hmm. That
So,
makes me
uh,
curious whether it is able to push the other out at some point.
no.
Okay, I was like, ah.
No. Yeah. So book 2 has something that she was hoping that was the case. I'll
Oh.
put it that way. But majorly not. Um, and then book 3, I just wrote the explanation of what she really is. So it's really kind of cool. Really quite cool.
Nice.
You're
I'm
like,
excited to
ooh,
hear
ooh,
it.
ooh, ooh.
So her combat skills that she uses in
Yes.
this, does she learn them at a young age, or is that once she's entered the academy, the defense academy kind of stuff?
No, she had skills before she was put into the in the foster care system.
Okay.
Her father that raised her um was did I have it as jujitsu? I think it was jujitsu
Mm-hmm.
master. So
Ooh.
he brought her up in that. So she knows jujitsu and Jakido and some of those other things. So she can spin a bow and take people down with a bow like no other nobody's business.
That's
And
awesome.
she, as a witch in the academy, isn't supposed to be as fierce and strong and being able to tag werewolves,
Mm-hmm.
even in wolf form, especially in wolf form, because in wolf
Yeah.
form, and she does. So she's got natural talents there.
Nice.
Yep, with swords, bows, knives. Yes, she and Robbie were the agency's top agents.
Yeah. So did they
Yeah.
frown on her then for like using her other skills so well, the agency?
No, no, that's the kind of agent you want to go into a vampire nest.
That's true.
Yeah,
True.
yeah, yeah. So the agency turns out to be not so benefactory, not so much of a benefactor as more of a, an evil thing.
Yeah.
um,
So in writing her and her personality and everything, what did you find was the most difficult part to do in creating her?
the most difficult part for me was to show her soft side.
Oh,
Because she's a very strong person. So to show her soft side, to show a little sappiness,
yeah.
um, it comes out here and there, but Robbie's more sappy than she is.
Oh,
um, so that I found difficult because she, hardlined, but it's all in her point of view. So, having her show fear, having
mhm.
her show vulnerability was was the most difficult because it had to be done in a way of a tough girl,
Yeah.
and I'm not a tough girl.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, okay, how would that come about? She
Mhm.
doesn't get freaked out quite as you or I would,
Yeah.
obviously. Even that first night waking up to find blood across her room and no body. Yeah, that's how the book starts.
Whoa.
That's how Wicked Heart starts. She doesn't freak out quite as much, you know,
Hmm.
and she has her head about her because she's worked for the agency for 15 years. So she's
Yeah.
walked in on these, just not in her own bedroom.
Yeah. Dude, that's
So,
kind of
yeah.
traumatic on its own
Yep.
outside of things, but
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then you're freaking out because your partner's coming to the house and to
yeah.
pick you up for work because you're late.
And
Oh
here's
yeah.
all this blood.
Oh
You're
yes.
like, what happened?
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. So,
That's
but her powers of being able to pull things, she pulls a vacuum, a big steam cleaner, an industrial cleaner to get that carpet clean.
oh my gosh. Priorities, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I can't have them see this. I can't have them see this. And then I was like, oh, you probably could smell it on me. So it's the afterthought after like, oh God, we have to clean this, you know.
Yes. That is so crazy. I have to say, I totally want to read this book now. I have several of your books on my TBR like list. Has several up here actually that I'm like, okay, I need to read that and do that because like I can't read as fast as I used to though because
Ah,
so much
yeah.
going on in life and everything.
Oh
But
yeah. Well, you have kids. You have kids.
that's true. And
I did.
he,
I didn't read quite as much when I had kids, but I also wasn't writing until they were 12 and 7, something
yeah.
like that.
And it's
So,
hard to find time to write too on everything else. I'm just like I said, mentioned before the show, I just keep
yes.
piling on stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I got this. We're okay.
Well, lately, because I'm behind,
Mhm.
I'm looking just to make sure, my work computer's in sleep mode. Be- because, in my downtime between meetings,
Mhm.
I've been writing during work hours because I'm so behind. I
Yeah,
took two
no,
I took
I
two
feel
vacations this
that.
summer, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks of not touching the computer.
It's hard. It is
And it
super
was like
duper
it was like,
hard.
oh crap, I'm now behind the 8 ball and I have 2 books to write
Yeah.
before September. 2.
Oh.
2, yes.
That's a lot.
One of them's almost there. The other one I haven't even really started, so I'm like, "Ugh," but that's a short story, so
Yeah,
it's
I've
not
been
quite or
piling on the
novella.
short stories because I'm like,
Yeah,
oh. So I've got
yeah.
one. I don't know if you're doing the one. What is it
Did
called? Perseo Cannon's group.
Starlight?
I did the Starlight one. I've got that
Okay.
done. I don't know why, but I got that done early. But I'm doing another one, and it's a retelling of Captain Hook. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, I've
I
got
I
to
don't
finish
think
this. I've got to
yeah,
finish this.
I'm not
So
gonna meet that deadline.
I'm worried I'm not. And I'm like, you know
Yeah,
what? If I don't, it's okay. I'll just
yeah.
do it on my
And
own.
and because it's a perpetual, I think that's a perpetual thing.
Mhm.
I'm second guessing that one because mine is Hook.
Is
Mine is
it?
called Hook.
See,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
I'm not calling it Hook. I haven't got a title for it yet, but
yeah,
it is kind of
yeah,
loosely. And I don't know if it's gonna fit though for like the theme because
yeah,
what it's trying to become into. I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna
yeah.
be villainy enough because I'm like, okay, my brain wants to go over here to the like, we're gonna turn this into romance. I'm like, this can't be a romance. It's gotta not be a romance. It's
Yeah,
gotta be YA.
that's my thing because my Hook. Hang on, my Hook. Hang on, hold on. Share screen again
Yes.
and go here and go.
And I
Hold
may
on.
have seen your Hook pictures, I think.
Yeah, I think you have.
Oh, maybe I haven't because I like that.
Yeah,
Ooh. Oh,
this
no,
is
yes, I did because oh,
yeah.
yes, that's pretty. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yep. It's another fractured fairy tale, which is
I
my
love it.
paranormal romance
Yes.
thing. So I'm like, it's a different take on the, fairy
Yeah.
tales, which I've got Jasmine coming out on October 4th
I've
in
seen
a
that one,
set.
yes.
I had Belle in a set that came out in June.
Mhm.
So I'm like, Hook is the last one. I don't know if I want it in a set. I think I want the last
Yeah.
one in there, and then once I get all the rights back for all of those, which I
Mhm.
think is April next year, I will be putting together, if I can fit it,
Yes.
a 10-story anthology hardcover,
Oh, that'll be
a
nice.
special hardcover. So I've got Cora, who's done most of my covers. Um, Thinking about I have her scheduled, I think, in January to do the, special edition,
Oh,
and
that'll be awesome.
I'll just do it in hardcover. So
Yes. That'll be awesome.
I have 1
So
through 7 in hardcover, but
yes. I mean, it's fun to do the hardcovers, though. They look
yes.
so pretty,
Yes,
like,
they
when they're
do.
hardcover.
Yeah.
So with Sarah Stone, did she kind of like take over your brain, like not talk? I'm going to be the focus here, like make all these other characters step back. It just seems like that would be her
Pretty
personality. So
pretty much, and, writing Robbie's point of view in Youngblood, the
yeah,
prequel. And, because the first 3 books, the trilogy is in Sarah's point of view. It's
hmm
first person point of view. So
yeah,
switching to Robbie was interesting, how he saw her.
yeah.
Like,
That's
ah, and I'm like, I had to give him a little different personality, but
hmm
he's forever the protector.
oh yeah. It's like a
So
built-in thing. I like
yes,
that.
he's an alpha of his pack too. So,
hmm
it's instilled in him. So, oh yeah, oh
They
yeah.
seem like they have matching personalities too, with her like being so fierce and him being an alpha. It's like I feel like they would butt heads a little bit. Does
Oh
that
yeah.
happen?
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Oh yeah. And she's like, "Don't you dare pull that alpha shit on me."
That is too
Oops.
funny.
Oops, sorry.
You're good. Wait, cussing is okay on this show.
Okay. Okay.
It's
Okay.
okay.
Well, I didn't know if little ears were around.
No, I got headphones.
Oh, good.
We're
Okay.
good.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
easier to hear like stuff and I don't get echo feedback with the
Yes.
microphone.
Oh
It
yeah.
does
Well,
still
yeah,
pick up like air conditioner.
I've got the
So
headset on too.
yes. It works really well.
Mhm.
Yeah. Plus he's thankfully, knock on wood, staying in the living room while I do these today.
Yes, that's
Because he only
good.
does half a day pre-K, and I'm just like, okay, so that's like 3 hours of like, what am I going to try to finish in 3 hours at the house?
Yes.
Kind of,
Yes.
but
But yeah, so Sarah and Robbie do butt heads.
awesome.
And they're with the vampire switch in her, they're
hmm
equally matched physically.
Ooh.
So he can take her down, she can take him down completely now without question. Before it was a little bit of a battle, but she could tag him, and she could knock him down.
Do these books
before.
get steamy any? Because I could
Oh yeah.
totally okay. Because in my mind, like being a romance author,
Yes.
like I'm like,
Yes.
oh hey, if they're
Oh
equal,
yes.
yay.
Oh yes. Yes. And and book 2 is even more headbutting, because they're both dealing with a fair share of PTSD after what happened at the end of book 1. Because
Man.
there are triggers in book 1.
Okay.
I'll put it that way. There are some nasty triggers in book 1 that break them in more than one way. So I
But
do.
sometimes you need that for like
Yeah. Yeah.
character development, and it really shows later on because
Yes.
everything changes.
Yeah.
Their views and everything. So that's really I like that. That's in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And Robbie's was more brutal.
Oh.
You find out more of what happened to him in book 2, because they're trying to work through it. But oh yeah. And so having them do that, and there are some very steamy scenes, but they're also filled with tension. More so in book 2. In book 1, it's just like, the wall is down.
Yeah.
Can you imagine 15 years of pent up sexual tension? Yep. pretty much.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that definitely is going to make its way onto my bookshelf. So
yes. Yeah. And that happens pretty early on. That's why all of a sudden I was like, maybe I need to write Robbie's story, because it'll give the true backstory of their relationship, because I didn't delve into too much. I some of it's in there, that they were in the academy together and partners and all of that, and some of their interactions are flashbacks. But yeah.
Sweet. All right, Miss Taylor, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you and your wonderful book with that character in it.
Okay, you can find all my books on my website, which is www.jetaylor75.com. And all my books are wide, so Amazon, Barnes and Noble, iTunes, Nook, Google Play. Oh, I did Kobo. I'm like, I'm missing something. I said I did two of the same thing. So I'm pretty much everywhere. You Google my name and I come up. So which is nice.
Yes.
So that's a good thing. So you can find me anywhere, and I'm on Facebook as well. I have a Wicked Crypt Keepers group, reader group. So you can join that and find out, more about me in general, and the music I like, and the books I recommend, and things like that.
Sweet. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you, Miss Taylor, for being on today.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Have a good one.
So let me set up the scene. Robbie's at her house asking her what the hell happened, basically, because he went to pick her up, and he could tell that she's other. I yelled in his ever-reddening face, "We may be partners, but that's where we always have drawn the line." I ran my hand through my hair, trying to control the rage dancing over my skin like a hot flame. He moved back, his eyes widening as he held his family jewels. If his expression hadn't transitioned from pain to outright surprise, I never would have glanced away. I caught a glimpse of my reflection in the tinted microwave door and stalled.